Hello and welcome back. The response tonight really has been remarkable. The detectives here, in fact, have had their work cut out keeping up with the information. If you had information and haven't yet got through, we'll have more numbers in a moment. And if you have got through, thank you very much for calling. You've already helped achieve results.
First, the battering ram raiders. This is the gang who used 2 lorries and a van to ambush a security van on a country road in Shropshire last month.
There's another one behind us.
That was part of our reconstruction. The raiders made off with almost £500,000 in unmarked banknotes.
Superintendent Barry Payne is the man hunting the attackers. What have we got? I know an enormous number of calls, something like 70 or 100 calls here and over 30 in the incident room.
Yes, we've had a tremendous response. One particularly interesting one in respect of the yellow lorry. That was sighted on the A41 between Newport and Cosford at a garage. It was leaking oil. There were 2 people with it, and we're following that up now.
That sounds very likely. Now, what about the people?
A large number of calls in respect of the people, particularly the man with the moustache. Many of them giving us names, and some of them, in fact, tying in with each other.
What, corroborating that two guys
with
were
the same name,
together?
in fact.
Yes. We've got a very good description of the fair-haired man with receding hair because I think one of the witnesses rather fancied him.
Yes, that's right, and we have a suggestion now as to where those 2 men were.
So good information you've got?
Yes.
Exciting?
It's promising at this stage.
Good, all right. Superintendent, thank you very much.
Well, next, the Aladdin's Cave, the hoard of treasure, presumed all stolen, that's been recovered by Gloucestershire Police. We've had quite a lot of calls from people who think they've spotted things that belong to them. A lady in Nottinghamshire thinks the cloisonné vase, John Blythe's favourite, is hers, stolen 9 months ago. A possible claimant for the coronation mugs, a man from Newcastle-under-Lyme, thinks these belong to a friend of his who had a collection worth £8,000 stolen. And finally, the silver from Hertfordshire Police. 2 people spotted the candlesticks here. A man from Bedfordshire thinks they're his father's, and another caller from Hatfield thinks they're his, stolen from a break-in a few months ago. We'll have to sort that one out. Perhaps they can have one each.
OK, now the Guy Fawkes murder, the killing on Guy Fawkes Day last year of the Londoner Lloyd Simpson. Police don't know the motive, yet he was clearly marked down for a gangster-style execution. Bill Peters, what's been the response?
There has been a very encouraging response, I'm glad to say, and I'm very grateful to those people who have taken the trouble to phone me. 2 of the calls have been particularly interesting, and we'll be following them up right away.
You've been very cagey about them. What are they saying?
Well, I'll hold my counsel on that, because hopefully that will give me an edge on the persons responsible.
Right. You're obviously onto something. Now, this is the sort of cartridge that was used in the killing.
Yes.
What do we know about it?
That's a Russian-made cartridge, Azot make, A-Z-O-T. It's a green casing, you can see. And it's a 12-bore shotgun and a number 5 shot. OK, in itself not important, because these are fairly common, aren't they? They're not uncommon. But this could be a useful clue in conjunction with other things. Indeed. Bill, thank you very much.
And now the tragic killing of Shelley Morgan. She was the American-born artist who lived in Bristol, a mother of 2 who went missing in June and whose body was found 3 weeks ago in a copse near Bristol Airport. Detective Superintendent Luke Clark is hunting the killer. Somebody is sure now, I gather, that somebody saw Shelley Morgan at the bus station that morning.
2 persons thought they saw her about 12:30, and we'll be interviewing them. And somebody has reported this empty Olympus camera case, so we'll be looking at that fairly closely. But we've had no report of the camera that we're interested in.
So if we can give that number again.
Yes. Don't forget that the number is underneath here, 103-2853. Another viewer suggested we give you the lens number because they may be sold separately, and that's 327-1752, and it's there on the lens. And I do make an appeal to the public. This man is a menace to women. We need to catch him quickly. If you've never helped the police before, help them this time.
Detective Superintendent, thank you.
Now let's see what we've discovered so far as a result of our incident desk. David Hatcher and Helen Phelps appealed for help on several crimes. In particular, Helen, let's start with the Brighton bombing. Lots of calls, I know.
Yes, lots of calls from people who think they can identify Roy Walsh.
Now, Roy Walsh was the man who booked him between the 15th and the 17th to the Grand Hotel at Brighton.
Yes, that's
one of the few people who hasn't yet been traced.
Exactly.
And where have we got on it?
Lots of calls, again, as I said, identifying Roy Walsh, so they'll be chased up.
Right, OK, what have you discovered, David? You were doing the photo fits.
Yes, let's look at the photo call. Christopher Haig and Stefan Raczynski. Several calls again. We've had sightings reported of them tonight at 6 and at 7 p.m. We're not going to say which one or where, of course, or whether they were together. But we've had things that we think are very promising. Also, John Goldie, remember, he was the man who is sought up in connection with a robbery of £52,000 in Coventry. 6 sightings, all in the same area, by different people. Again, not saying where or when or how, but we'll be following those up as well
So
tonight.
that does sound extremely solid. In general, what's been the rate of response of telephone calls coming in?
An excellent response.
It really has
Excellent.
been tonight.
Yes.
It's been much, much stronger than last week, as far as I can gather. So,
Well, in fact, calls are still coming in, and we'll be keeping the lines open here until midnight. If you can't get through, in a moment we'll give you local numbers you can call. They're all on CFAX, incidentally, on page 185. And don't forget you can write to us in absolute confidence, of course. This is the address, Crimewatch UK, BBC Television, London, W12 8QT.
we'll be back in a month's time. Thank you for calling if you did. Let me say again, despite the frightening things that we've talked about tonight, violent crime really is very rare. So do please sleep well.
Good night.
Good night.